Welcome to Skytech-Lens. Today, we're diving into a crisis unfolding in June 2025. 7 of the world's busiest ports have abruptly canceled US-bound shipments. This isn't due to a natural disaster or cyber attack, it's a man-made economic storm with tariffs used as weapons. The global supply chain is cracking and the automotive industry is taking a direct hit. Essential car parts, engines, transmissions, electronics are stuck, driving up prices and causing unprecedented delays. The gears of the global economy are grinding to a halt, with the auto sector in the crosshairs. We'll take you from coast to coast and across the Pacific to reveal how these 7 ports became ground zero in a high-stakes trade showdown. Let's see just how deep this crisis goes. Our journey starts at Port Newark, Elizabeth, New Jersey, the Northeast's automotive artery. For years, assembly plants in the Midwest relied on a steady flow of parts through these docks. But now, that rhythm is shattered. With West Coast ports paralyzed by tariffs, shippers rerouted cargo to Newark, Elizabeth, overwhelming its capacity. Container volumes from Asia to the East Coast have dropped 18%, a sign of deep disruption. Shipping lines are canceling entire voyages, blank sailings, leaving critical auto parts stranded in Asia. Imagine being a logistics manager. Your just-in-time delivery system collapses as shipments are indefinitely delayed. Assembly lines risk grinding to a halt for want of a single component. Distribution centers see inventories dwindle. Repair shops can't get parts. For consumers, this means longer waits and higher costs. What once took 2 days now takes weeks if it arrives at all. Independent shops struggle to serve customers, and a simple repair becomes a prolonged ordeal. Newark, Elizabeth's crisis shows how interconnected and fragile our supply chain is. A West Coast crisis metastasizes into an East Coast choke point. The port, once a symbol of efficiency, now reveals the system's vulnerability. In this new era of economic warfare, no part of the chain is immune. Now, to Yantian Port in Shenzhen, China, a titan shipping over a quarter of Chinese exports to the US, especially auto parts. When tariffs loomed, a desperate rush to ship goods out created chaos. A brief truce only unleashed a tsunami of pent-up demand, overwhelming the port. Container bookings surged 277% overnight, yards clogged, trucks backed up for miles. Smaller companies, spot shippers, were squeezed out, unable to secure space. Congestion at Yantian delayed ships leaving China, which then faced more delays at US ports. The return journey was also delayed, locking both ends of the Pacific in a cycle of escalating delays. US automakers suddenly lacked critical components. A missing sensor or chip could halt an entire production line. The just-in-time model became a liability. Yantian's gridlock exposed the risk of relying on a single region for key parts. The tariff war didn't just add cost, it injected volatility the supply chain couldn't absorb. Small and medium suppliers vital to the aftermarket were left behind. The crisis at Yantian signals that old models of global trade are breaking down. The efficiency of modern manufacturing has become its greatest vulnerability. The lessened concentration breeds fragility. Back in the US, the port of Savannah, Georgia, became a powerhouse for the southern auto industry. Its seamless port-to-plant pipeline fueled a manufacturing boom. But the tariff storm turned Savannah's strength into a weakness. Diverted cargo from the West Coast and a rush of US exports overwhelmed the system. Rail yards became bottlenecks, too many containers, not enough trains. A severe chassis shortage paralyzed the final leg of delivery. Plants in Georgia and Alabama slowed or halted production, forced to abandon just in time for costly buffer stocks. The slowdown rippled through the regional economy, hitting everyone from dock workers to plant employees. Savannah's rise is now a cautionary tale about hidden supply chain vulnerabilities. The port's struggle shows how quickly success can be derailed by global conflict. The Southern Industrial Revival is now a story of disruption. Efficiency without resilience is a recipe for crisis. The lesson: even the best-run ports can be brought to a standstill. The supply chain's weakest links are now exposed. In the Pacific Northwest, Seattle and Tacoma, once reliable gateways, now face a different crisis: silence. After a pre-tariff rush, cargo flows dropped 40%. Container terminals grew quiet, cranes stood idle, truck trips fell 26%, and blank sailings surged as shipping lines bypassed the region. The ports, once economic engines, now resemble ghost towns. Tens of thousands of jobs are threatened as work dries up. The automotive sector faces a double blow. Suppliers can't export, and local repair shops face the same shortages as the rest of the country. The trade war didn't just cause congestion, it created an economic vacuum. The ripple effects are spreading through the regional economy. The The story here is a stark reminder: tariffs don't just slow trade, they can stop it. The silence on the docks is a testament to the chilling efficiency of economic warfare. The Pacific Northwest's supply chain is now defined by absence, not activity. The region's optimism for 2025 has evaporated. Trade wars create losers on all sides. Down the coast, the port of Oakland seemed to weather the storm, at first. Inbound containers ticked up as shippers avoided Southern California's logjams. But the real problem was on land rail yards clogged, chassis shortages mounted, and containers piled up. Shipping lines canceled 39 voyages in a month, showing little confidence in the route. For the auto supply chain, this created a paradox. Parts were in the country, but stuck in the yard. Dealerships and repair shops faced indefinite delays, even when shipments had technically arrived. The inland bottleneck erased any advantage in ship processing speed. A container stuck in a yard is as disruptive as one stuck offshore. The promise of quick repairs was broken by ground-level failures. Oakland's lesson: a port is only as strong as its weakest link. The tariff crisis exposed the fragility of the entire logistics ecosystem. Even a positive statistic can mask a deeper problem. South of LA, the Port of Long Beach, America's largest port complex, was hit hard. The pre-tariff surge gave way to a fractured, unpredictable flow of goods. Ocean carriers canceled voyages, and truck runs dropped by 60%. Warehouses emptied out, workers lost hours, and the logistics industry sputtered. For the auto sector, the supply of everything from brake pads to engine modules dried up. Repair shops told customers their cars could be out of commission for weeks or months. Shipping costs soared, and those costs were passed down to consumers. A simple repair became expensive, not because of the part, but because of the broken supply chain. Long Beach, once a titan, was brought to its knees. Idle cranes and empty warehouses became the new normal. The system built for massive volume was quickly disrupted. Tariffs didn't just slow things, they created a vacuum. The crisis left a critical piece of America's infrastructure underutilized and the industries that depend on it in turmoil. Our final stop, the Port of Los Angeles, the busiest container port in the Western Hemisphere. When tariffs spiked to 145% on some goods, importing auto parts became impossible. Shipping lines slashed, vessel arrivals and blank sailings surged. The port's lifeblood was cut off, and dock workers saw their hours halved. The slowdown here rippled nationwide. Dealerships and repair shops everywhere felt the shortage. Even after a temporary truce, recovery was slow. Backlogs and financial losses lingered. The crisis at LA is a cautionary tale about the vulnerability of key infrastructure. When the heart of the supply chain is targeted, the whole system suffers. The road to recovery is long and uncertain. The Port of LA's struggle shows how fragile our modern economy truly is. The damage can't be undone overnight. The lesson: concentrated power brings concentrated risk. What have we learned? The automotive world is at a crossroads. Tariffs, not disasters, brought the system to its knees. The just-in-time model has been exposed as dangerously fragile. Automakers and suppliers must now rethink strategies, diversifying sources, building buffer stocks, and prioritizing resilience over efficiency. The era of lean and mean may be over. How have these disruptions impacted your automotive projects or repairs? Share your stories in the comments. Your insights shape our future videos. Subscribe to Skytech-Lens for more crucial updates.